She thought moving on would be easy. She convinced herself that time, distractions, and new experiences would erase whatever feelings she once had. She believed that if she kept herself busy, surrounded herself with enough people, and focused on her own life, she wouldn't feel a thing, but reality doesn't work that way. At first, it seems like everything is normal. She still goes out, still smiles in pictures, and still posts online as if life has never been better. To the outside world, she looks unbothered, untouched by what happened, and that's exactly how she wants it to seem. But what people don't see, what she won't let anyone see, is the silent battle happening inside her. She wants to feel indifferent. She wants to believe she's better off. But no matter how much she tells herself she doesn't care, the emotions don't just disappear. This isn't about a temporary loss. It's about realizing that something she thought she could walk away from is actually irreplaceable. And that realization doesn't come all at once. It creeps in little by little. At first, she just notices small shifts, moments when she instinctively reaches for her phone, only to remember that you're not there anymore. Times when she scrolls through social media and catches herself checking if you've moved on. She tries to ignore it. She tells herself it's just habit, that she's just curious, that it doesn't mean anything. But the truth is, it means everything. Because the more she tries to convince herself that it doesn't matter, the more she realizes that it does. She starts seeing reminders of you everywhere, the places you used to go, the songs you used to play, the jokes only the two of you understood, all the little details she never thought she'd miss. And it's in those moments, those quiet, unexpected moments, that the mask slips. The world doesn't see it, her friends don't hear about it, but deep inside, she feels the weight of what she let go. And here's the part she never saw coming. It's not just about missing you. It's about missing how she felt when she was with you. She thought she could replace you, that another person, another experience, another distraction would fill the space you left behind. But now she realizes it's not that simple, because it's not just your presence she misses. It's the connection, the way you made her feel, the way you saw her differently, the way she could be herself around you in a way she hasn't been able to with anyone else. And that's when the worst part of all starts to sink in. She can't get that feeling back. No matter how many people she surrounds herself with, no matter how much attention she gets, it's not the same. She thought walking away would give her freedom, but instead, it gave her a realization she never wanted to face. She had something real, and she let it go. Now she has to live with that decision. Because while she's still fighting her emotions, still pretending like it doesn't hurt, still holding on to her pride, you've already started moving forward. And that's what's truly killing her inside, the fear of becoming just another memory. She never expected this. She thought she was the one in control, that she could move on effortlessly, that time would erase whatever connection you both had. But now she's realizing that time isn't healing anything. It's making the loss feel even stronger. At first, she tried to silence it. She distracted herself, surrounded herself with friends, kept her schedule busy enough so that she wouldn't have time to think about you. And for a while, it worked, at least on the surface. But as the days passed, something shifted. It's not just about missing you anymore. It's about the fear that you're forgetting her. That's the thought that keeps her up at night. Not just that she lost you, but that she might no longer exist in your mind the way you still exist in hers. That while she's struggling with emotions she can't fully control, you might be perfectly fine without her. That realization sends her into panic mode. She starts noticing the signs, the ones that tell her she no longer has the same place in your life. You're not watching her stories anymore. You don't react to anything she posts. There's no sign that you're waiting, wondering, hoping she'll reach out. And that absence, it's deafening, because now she's not just dealing with the emotions of loss, she's facing the reality that she's not as important to you as she once was. That terrifies her. Deep down, she expected you to struggle with this more than she did. She thought you'd be the one reminiscing. She thought you'd be the one checking her social media, wondering if she was missing you. But now she has to face the hardest truth of all. You're the one who is truly moving on. And that fear starts eating away at her. She starts searching for signs that she still holds a place in your life. She replays old conversations, looks at old pictures, even catches herself typing out a message before deleting it. But the more she searches, the more she realizes she has nothing left to hold on to, because the version of you she thought would always be there, that version no longer exists. She thought she could pull away and still keep you in her orbit, that you would always feel a certain way about her, and that she could come back whenever she wanted. But now she's realizing something she never prepared for. She's becoming just another memory, and the moment she truly feels that, that's the moment it starts to break her. The moment she realizes she can't undo it, it hits her in waves. At first it was just a feeling, subtle and lingering, something she could push away when she was busy. But now it's undeniable. She thought she had control. She thought that if she ever changed her mind, you would still be there waiting, hoping, ready to reopen the door she casually walked out of. But now she's realizing that the door is closed. She doesn't just miss you, she's realizing she lost you, and that loss is different from anything she's ever felt before. She tries to fight it, distract herself more, go out more, talk to other people, hoping that someone, anyone, will fill the space you once occupied. But no matter what she does, nothing feels the same. Because it's not just about having someone around, it's about having you. And now, for the first time, she's forced to confront a reality she never prepared for. She thought she was the one making the decisions, but now she's realizing she was never fully in control. Because the truth is, you had a choice too. And while she was busy convincing herself that she didn't need you, while she was expecting you to wait, to chase, to still be there, you were quietly making a decision of your own. And your decision was to let her go. She realizes this in the moments when she tries to reconnect, but you don't respond the way she expected. She texts you, and instead of excitement, she gets a simple, indifferent reply. She posts something meant to get your attention, but you don't react. She subtly tries to test the waters, but you're no longer playing the game. And that's when it truly sinks in. You're not the same person she left. You've grown, you've changed. You're no longer looking at her the way you once did. And now she's the one feeling powerless. She wants to undo it. She wants to take back the distance she created. She wants to turn back time and make a different decision, but she can't. Because now you're not giving her the same access. And that's when the real regret starts to consume her. Because it's no longer about what she wants. It's about what you want. And the moment she realizes you might not want her anymore, that's when she truly feels the loss. The weight of knowing she had something real and let it slip away. There's a difference between missing someone and realizing you lost something you'll never get back. At first, she thought this was just another phase, something temporary, something she could shake off like she's done before. But now she knows this is different. She doesn't just miss the conversations. You were more than words on a screen. She doesn't just miss the attention. You were more than a passing distraction. She doesn't just miss the comfort. You were someone who made her feel things she didn't even understand at the time. And now she understands. But understanding comes with a painful cost, because now it's too late. She's replayed this scenario 100 times in her head. She thought that if she ever had second thoughts, she could just reach out and everything would fall back into place. But for the first time in her life, she's realizing that some things don't get a second chance. And the worst part? It's not that she lost you. It's that she lost the version of you who cared, the person who was once willing to give his time, his energy, his heart. That person no longer exists, and that truth crushes her because she sees it now. You were the one thing in her life that was real, the one person who truly understood her, who saw her for who she was beyond the surface. And she let it go, not because she didn't care, not because she didn't feel something real, but because she didn't realize what she had until it was gone. Now she has to live with the weight of knowing that she had something special, and she was the one who let it slip away. The unbearable truth is she can't reverse time, and it haunts her. She never truly imagined a reality where you were gone, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, completely out of reach. She always thought that no matter what happened, she would always have a hold on you, that some part of you would remain tethered to her. But now that illusion has shattered. For the first time, she's experiencing something she never thought she would, being on the outside, looking in. You're no longer accessible, no longer waiting, and worst of all, you're no longer hers. She tries to pretend it doesn't bother her, but it does. The more she fights it, the stronger it grows. It's not just missing you. It's the gut-wrenching realization that you've moved forward in a way that she hasn't. She sees it in the way you carry yourself now, the way you've become sharper, stronger, more self-assured, the way you've stepped into a higher version of yourself, one that no longer seeks her validation. And that stings more than anything. Before, she had the power. She was the one who decided when things ended, how they played out, whether you stayed connected or drifted apart. But now the power has shifted entirely, and she doesn't know how to handle it. She looks at the choices she made, and for the first time, she begins to regret not just losing you, but losing the opportunity to experience who you've become. Because the person you are now, the one who no longer chases, no longer seeks approval, no longer places her on a pedestal, that's the person she truly wanted all along. And now she realizes she'll never have that version of you. That's the pain she never saw coming, the kind of pain that doesn't fade with time, the kind that lingers, creeping into quiet moments, reminding her that some choices can never be undone. She thought you would always be an option, but now she understands the truth. You weren't an option, you were the one. And she walked away from you. The weight of that decision is something she will carry with her far longer than she ever expected. The emotional spiral begins when she realizes she lost something irreplaceable. The weight of her decision is no longer just a passing thought. It's a reality that follows her everywhere. At first, she told herself she made the right choice, that walking away wasn't a mistake, that life would eventually validate her decision. But time isn't doing what she expected. Instead of feeling lighter, she feels heavier. Instead of feeling relieved, she feels restless. Instead of moving forward, she's stuck in a loop of regret, because now she sees the difference between losing someone and losing someone truly valuable. She thought she could replace what she had with you. She assumed that if she ever needed to, she could just find someone new, someone who could give her the same feelings, the same excitement, the same depth. But now, after experiencing what's out there, she realizes how rare you actually were. It starts to feel unfair. Why is it that the people giving her attention now don't measure up? Why is it that no one else makes her feel the way you did? Why is it that no matter where she turns, she keeps comparing everyone to you? She didn't think it would be this hard. She assumed that walking away would open doors for something new, something better, but instead, it left her with nothing. Here's the truth she never wanted to face. People like you don't come around often. You weren't just another person trying to impress her. You weren't just another person who wanted her attention. You weren't just another temporary moment in time. You were the kind of person she could have built something real with, and now she doesn't get to have that anymore. That realization starts eating at her. She tries to distract herself, but no amount of socializing, no number of new dates, no level of validation fills the space you left behind. Because it's not just about attraction, it's about connection. What she had with you wasn't surface level. It wasn't something she could just find anywhere. The more she realizes that, the deeper the regret digs in. She walked away without truly understanding what she was letting go of. Now every time she looks back, every time she thinks about what she lost, she has to live with the fact that she made a choice she can never undo. The final realization: she lost someone who won't come back. She fought it for as long as she could. She told herself it wasn't a big deal. That time would make everything fade, that one day she'd wake up and not think about you at all. But now she knows the day isn't coming, because the more time passes, the clearer it becomes. She didn't just lose a person, she lost an opportunity to grow with someone who truly saw her, an opportunity to build something with someone rare, an opportunity to be with someone who actually mattered. And the worst part, you're not coming back. She can try to reconnect. She can try to slip back into your life. She can try to act like nothing happened. But deep down, she knows. She feels it. You've outgrown her, and the version of you who once wanted her, that person no longer exists. Now you're the one who chooses. She thought she had time. She thought she had control. She thought she could pull away and that the door would always be open. But for the first time, she understands she wasn't just another option. She was the choice. And now she has to live with the fact that she made the wrong one. If this resonated with you, check out the next video on your screen. The moment you stop chasing, everything shifts in your favor. Don't miss what's next.